of Studio Scoops Formula One podcast. We just witnessed the crown jewel, the Monaco GP, and there was a lot of drama. I have F1 Yoda, aka Arjun, with me, and he's gonna decode all the drama which happened for the fifth race of this season.
That was an amazing introduction. Thank you. Also, welcome back to the Principality. Monaco was on a hiatus and now it has been back and it's been quite fun as well. Again, I thought this race would have been boring, but there was a drama all throughout the weekend where Charles Leclerc, oh, poor guy, man. I feel heartbroken for him actually because he put it on pole since 1936. There's never been a monogasque driver on pole since 1936 and he was able to do it, but he crashed during qualifying, as a result of which he had a gearbox issue.
Yeah.
Ferrari said they had fixed it, but then he couldn't start it. So then the race just turned out the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Max inherited the first position.
Yes, there was a lot of drama, and like I'm gonna this time do a small Q&A with our F1 Yoda because he knows everything what happened.
Woohoo!
So we'll go like the top 5 highlights for this race.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's perfect. Okay, so let me just get right off the start. As I said, Charles Leclerc, poor guy. I saw him literally crying. Like, he was sitting there all dejected and depressed. One of his best friends, Pierre Gasly, he came up to him and just like, put an arm around him and said like, dude, chill maar yaar, hota hai aise zindagi mein. Maybe next race he will see something better in him, like, So that was the point number 1.
Yeah.
The start of the race was pretty on point, I would say, because since Max Verstappen had only one thing to do, is to just not let Valtteri Bottas, who was third, inherited second, not to cross him.
Yeah.
So he started, he had a little bit of a wheel spin, but he cut off Bottas and he said, अच्छा भाई तू पीछे रुक मैं अभी आगे निकलता हूँ, and both of them just bolted away from the rest of the field.
Yeah. So yeah, and what do you have to say about the points table, because this was the first time we saw some points happening for Red Bull.
Oh yes, so since 2013, I think with Sebastian Vettel were leading the points table for quite some time, but after that Mercedes during the entire hybrid area for the past 7 years, these people have just been dominating, and this was the first time after so many years where they took over. They are leading the championship, and Max Verstappen has never led a championship. This was the first time he was able to lead the championship. Oh, by the way, spoilers, guys. Max Verstappen won the race.
Just in case you guys are under the rock and have not seen the papers yet.
And Red Bull is leading the Constructors' Championship by 1 point.
Thank you, Arjun. That was very exciting. What do you have to say about the strategy that these drivers used in the race? And do you think any team led the strategy?
Okay,
well?
let me counter question you on that. What do you think of the Monaco track?
It was so narrow. I was just thinking, even if one car can pass through it properly.
Yes, but it was like a very procession, like everybody just following each other, right? So in that case, track position matters. And secondly, you could only play in the pit strategies. So the pit strategy that we saw was Sebastian Vettel and Aston Martin doing like a stellar move where he was able to jump Pierre Gasly, who was in 6th position, and he was unable to capture that 5th position. Pierre Gasly was unable to capture that 5th position, and Pierre Gasly was holding back Hamilton. All right. So they went up the first turn 3 or turn 4, and they were almost like a centimeter apart.
Oh.
And that was the only place that, where they could overtake. But they said that if I had overtaken it, they literally had a conversation later on after the race as well.
Yeah, because I didn't see this all happening.
Yeah, so a lot of people on the internet also complaining about that because they cut off to a person who was just pitting in at that time. They showed Perez pitting in, but this entire incident not shown on the live.
Damn.
But it's there on the F1 channel if you want to watch it, and you can see how close they were actually. So Pierre Gasly and Sebastian Vettel came and they said that, भाई थोड़ा और पास रहते थे तो सच में we would have been back into the river over there. Sorry, the ocean over there.
Pretty interesting. And overall I felt it was just not Mercedes.
Yeah, they had a bad, they were unable to warm up their tires, and Lewis Hamilton was struggling with he was unable to fire up his tires, get the right temperature so that he could operate them and do his Lewis Hamilton stuff and just check out and just battle with Max. He qualified 7th, and he was just struggling through the midfield, and he was unable to pass because again the track is narrow and there's a lot of dirty air as well from the car ahead. Valtteri Bottas had bad luck, but he had gotten used to the car, but he had a big problem where he came into the pits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
He came into the pits Tires were ready, primed, ready to go. He was ready to attack. The entire nut bolt just jammed.
I know
And
that incident was
yeah.
so sad.
Oh God, could you see? Did you see his face after that? Like, I mean, like he was just the entire body language was like, my God, what do I have to do to beat Max Verstappen, man?
It was Max's weekend. Let me put it
Yeah.
like that. He was unbeatable, and I
He
think
was-
it was his
He
first.
was on point, and he was like charging, like
Yeah.
he just like yeah.
It was his first Monte Carlo GP.
Yes,
win?
yes, it was his first Monte Carlo. That's I forgot to say that Monaco GP. He has never won it. He's always been in the fray, but this was his first win in Monaco GP as well.
Okay, so you know what? I am in love with Max now because he's
Yeah.
doing pretty well on the points table as well as winning his team some extra points. But what do you have to say about the Australian driver? He seems to be having a tough time with his car.
Oh, the honey badger, Mr. Avocado. Oh my God. You know he's been a Monaco specialist. He is called a Monaco specialist.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So in 2018, I think, or 2017, my date might be wrong, but he had won the Monaco GP.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this year he's still getting grips with his new team and his entire car. As a result of which, he was unable to challenge for the top positions. You know, Lando Norris, on the contrary, has got the team well rounded around him. So he literally lapped him, and that's a little bit embarrassing for a Monaco winner, Monte Carlo winner. But what can you do? That's the way sport is. Like, you know, once you're there, the echelon and the peak, and the next minute you're not there. Like, you know.
I know. It's pretty sad to see that he couldn't even keep control over his car.
Yeah.
And what is he calling his car these days?
Oh, she is quite a diva.
Oh, quote
That-
unquote.
Yeah, the
diva.
car is quite a diva, actually speaking. So which he and Carlos Sainz, because Carlos Sainz was first in McLaren, he has inherited this car from Carlos Sainz, and they did have that discussion. I need to understand her more, so it is important to have a proper conversation with the car.
Wow. This only all the car lovers would understand this conversation, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But overall, I think F1 season is going pretty well. We're seeing a lot of drama. We're seeing a lot of action on the race as expected. The more I read, the more I'm getting used to the quirks of these drivers. I can understand a lot has to do with the strategy.
Exactly.
And this time it was
So,
the hard tires.
so in Barcelona and in Monaco GP, you saw main thing about how the pit strategies play out.
Yeah.
In the next track, probably in Baku, you will see proper overtakes. We had done a little bit of a live after the race as well yesterday. In this live, we had discussed where there is a long straight in Baku,
Yeah.
which like I think the car is maxed out on it, and it's like close to 340k.
Hmm.
You're going to see a lot of overtakes over there at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
because I kind of feel that if you can't rev the car and take those sharp.
Oh, you're going to
overtakes-
enjoy Baku then.
Yay!
Because
I'm
I think in
looking forward.
2017, when Sebastian Vettel was challenging for the championship from Ferrari and versus Lewis Hamilton, there was a little bit of on-track drama where they literally bumped cars into each other,
Okay.
and things got a little feisty and hot with them because a four-time world champion is going up against another four-time world champion. At that time when Lewis Hamilton was at 4.
Okay.
So yeah, things got feisty between them, and there were a lot of incidents which happened. Valtteri Bottas, funny enough, his tires always go off.
I think the team needs to pay extra attention on his tires.
Yes.
Cool, guys. This is what we had for you from the tracks of Monaco GP. But if you have more suggestions, you want us to cover something and eat F1 Yoda's head for any kind of topics on F1, please do write us, and we would love to cover these while these races are on. And I think we still have a week more to go between
Yeah,
the
4th to 6th June is going to be the next race.
So we have a lot of time between the current race and the next one. So we still have a lot of time between these two races. So why don't you guys hit us up, and we would love to come talk about different aspects of F1. I learned about the constructor points this week clearly from the F1 Yoda, and
And the budding expert is becoming more expert.
my goal from this whole season of the 2021 F1 is to understand what all I saw back in the in the Netflix series, the Drive to Survive, and understand it so that when I see the fourth season coming out, it will be something I can relate to more. But yeah.
I would just say you would like the actual season more than the Netflix season because they dramatize. Always Netflix does a little bit of more dramatization. A lot of people on the internet also say that.
Mm-hmm.
But you should really follow the season in depth, and I will be there to help all of you guys out, and Priyanka as well for this. Because the actual season is much more nuanced and has got much more things which are going on in the background which add to the entire thing. One point that we missed out on, there was a lot of banter going on before the entire weekend started. Where Hamilton literally challenged Max, like, I think he's got some bendy wings. I think I have nothing to prove because I'm a 7-time world champion. And Max coming back to him, and his team principal, Max's team principal as well, Christian Horner coming back, like, yeah, we'll see on track. That kind of thing. That banter was still going on.
Yeah, that's the bad.
Clearly, I know who has the upper hand right now. We all do know that now.
And yeah, not just upper hand, 4 points lead. It's a great lead to have. So yeah, guys, we love to hear from you. What are you guys watching apart from F1? I know a lot of sports fans are getting a lot of time right now due to the lockdown to binge on a lot of older series. So if you guys are watching anything, do let us know, and we would love to hear from you guys. Take care. Have a safe and a happy week ahead. Bye.
Bye bye. The giant will awake now.